this is what I wish to everyone who is watching my home show today. My home, as usual, the host is Felipe Hirwa Tuzayisenga. Today we are going to talk about the catechism. Yes, recently the Rwandan catechists undertook a journey to Uganda to visit the shrines, the holy sites. What is the reason behind visiting these holy sites? This is what we are going to be talking about. I'm with Emmanuel Haumureni. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Emmanuel knows much about what we are going to talk because he's the member of the commission in charge of national commission in charge of catechism. So as you may understand it, he knows much about catechism here in Rwanda. So who is a catechist? The society, Rwanda, the society, how is should perceive the catechists?
Thank you for the question. I'm going to talk about a catechist as someone who is a child. I remember when I was a child, people who used to teach us Catholic beliefs, religious beliefs, were catechists. And I don't know whoever who is a Christian who have never been in front of a catechist, because they are people who teaches religious belief. Here we are talking about the Catholic Church because catechists are not the one for only the Catholic Church, but we have catechists even in other region. But for the Catholic Church, a catechist is a teacher of religious principles as taught by the Catholic Church. Here in Rwanda, most of catechists are the helper of a parish priests. They help him in their daily activities, especially the one related to preaching the gospel to the people. And most of the catechists, they have a way of behaving in the society. You will find them as honest people, preaching by examples, but also who devoted their time to the gospel of Christ.
Wonderful. Should we understand that the role they are playing, or those teachings they are imparting, is there a relation between what their job, what they are doing, and the development of a society in general, or it is just mainly for the Catholic Church, according to our perception?
This question brings me back to the early church in Rwanda. As you know, it was brought by white fathers, African missionaries, founded by Monsignor Vigéry. They came and as a supporter or helper of white fathers, and they are the one who helped a link between white fathers and the Rwandan society. At that time, the fathers taught the gospel, but also has to do some activities for the well-being of the society, because at that time there was, for example, diseases, people were not at school, so they carried out activities related to preaching the gospel, but together with activities to make sure that those people who are being taught are have a good life, but also are educated. And most of the time, catechists were the one who helped them to teach, to hear them, to help in providing health services for the society, but also in make the interaction, cultural interaction, European and Rwandan culture interaction possible. So they were interpreters, but also some people who were like a pioneer in clearing the way for missionaries to teach the gospel.
So that just was that time,
Yeah.
in the past. So currently, how they are the work catechists are doing is impacting the lives of community members.
Yeah. Rwandan literacy is somehow improving, but at the beginning, let's talk about early 80s, 90s. At that time, catechists were the one who helped new believers to get acquainted with what the good gospel of God is teaching us. And at that time, before get to the stage of having sacraments, they have to learn how to read and write, to count, and they were even introduced to different activities related to how people should behave in the society. So someone who taught people to read so that they can discover themselves what they can do to develop themselves really is someone who is doing something important. Someone who visits people, especially vulnerable people, people who are sick, sometimes help them to recover well. So with these different practices, people who have met catechists really know the importance of these different activities, and some people don't know how to count the value. But people who have met people, such catechists knows how catechists are really impacting our societies in, first of all, keeping good behavior, good morals, but also or leading to the path of God.
Well, some have said that they are supposed to teach by examples. This is not an easy task. So, what are the challenges that the catechists are encountering in their job, in their work, in their daily life? Let's say spiritual life.
When we were preparing the celebration of the first day of a catechist in Rwanda last year, we tried to meet different catechists and asked some questions related to their mission. And what we have found out is that majority of them are volunteers. They don't get salary, and they do the activities willingly, and they are happy with what they do. Looking at the journey they have to make to get from home to the place where they exercise their mission, sometimes there is a long journey to work. At the beginning, those ways were not modern roads. They used to go through the dew and sometimes under rain, without any payments from people. So this was a challenge for them. But also some, especially in 1994, they were shocked by seeing some of the people they have taught being part of what happened here in Rwanda. where some of them, of the people who were taught by catechists were committed genocide. But they are happy that at the moment with the program which are in place for national reconciliation, they have seen some changes, and this comfort them at least. But this was a shock for them at that time. Other challenges are related to the well-being, their well-being. Sometimes they dedicate their time to teaching religion and helping the priest in their activities, but sometimes they don't have a means to support their family. At that time, when someone meet this challenge, sometimes this can compromise his work. The other challenge that we have found out is that we have two categories of catechists. Some are professional one because they have been at the school of catechists. Others are volunteers who are prepared by priests at the parish. The professional one, the number is very limited. And looking at the work they have to do, sometimes it's huge. So this challenge really hinder a fully, I don't know how to call it, but most of the time they are not really satisfied with what they have to do. They need to see that they reach everyone who needs them, but being very few in number, sometimes compromise their job. And when we look at the training they get, some have to leave their family and they go to the school and spend there a long time. When you are someone who is married, sometimes it's difficult to leave your family and go spend such a long time at the school. The other who are young, some goes there, and when they come back and find that life is very tough, sometimes quit catechists mission and go to look for other way of living outside. But what we have found out is that most of the catechists are really they dedicate their time on the mission they accepted to do.
Wonderful. I remind those who are watching now that we are talking about catechism and the catechists. In general, the work they do and the challenges they encounter throughout the journey. Mr. Emmanuel, we talked about the commission that you are part of. Before we see how they are supported despite these challenges, let's look at the commission in charge of catechism. What's the mission? What are they doing?
Yeah, as you may know, we have the Catholic Church in Rwanda, which made of different, Christians from different dioceses. At the moment, we have 9, and all these dioceses, the bishops that lead these dioceses meet in what we call Conference Episcopal di Rwanda, and this Conference Episcopal has different departments, sometimes called commission, other called bureaus. So we have 9. Among them is what we call BNC, is a Bureau National de la Catéchèse. It's a national office of catechesis. So this commission is in charge of looking at how catechism is taught here in Rwanda, and it ensures that teaching materials for the catechists are in place. but also call, visit, and interact with different people who are in charge of catechism in different dioceses to know what is challenges and how this can be overcome. This bureau has created a commission of different people made of representatives from different dioceses, and I'm a member of this commission. It's a commission to think even beyond what is the commission is doing, looking at what is how our Christian faith is being taught in different areas, challenges people are meet, and then come and reflect on what can be the solutions for this. And at the moment, this commission has put in place a comprehensive teaching materials for all catechists. At the moment, they have a book they can use to help catechists knowing their mission and what they have to teach. And as you know, when we talk about catechism, most of the time we talk about our faith. Catechist has a mission of teaching Catholic faith to believers. Sometimes there is, no, not sometimes, but catechist has four main parts that goes together: teaching Catholic faith, what we believe, teaching people about sacraments, 10 Commandments, and the prayer. With this, the book have put all this together so that the information a catechist has to know be the one for everyone in the country. And as you know, catechesis has been Pope Francis has created a ministry for catechists. So the commission is in charge of following up everyday activities related to making sure that the ministry is really progressing in fulfilling its mission. And Pope has said that bishop is the higher level or the highest catechist, to make sure that this is to make sure that he is the one to look at the ministry and know what is going on and challenges, and looking at how alleviate the challenges, etc.
Yes, if I do understand you well, yes, there's a lot you are doing to make sure that the commission, the ministry fulfills its mission, attains its goals. But the commission or the ministry will not achieve the goals if the catechist is not well supported. So if we look back at the highlighted challenges they face in this country, so how are they supported? Apart from spiritual support, how are they supported?
Yeah, starting with knowing that there is a ministry for catechists. Since that time, the commission has wrote a status,
or legal status.
Yeah, it's a kind of statutes, some information on what a catechist is, how he works or she works, and what he gets when he works, and all of these have been put in his statutes. And then all dioceses at the moment, apart from one or two, have put in place a dedicated priest in charge of catechism to ensure that catechists are trained have regular trainings, but also are followed up to make sure that they have their life is in good shape.
In good shape spiritually, financially, economically.
Here we are talking about spiritual and economically, but economically there is challenges of funds, and recently, this year, we have conducted a kind of survey and to look at how really catechists, status of catechists in Rwanda is at the moment. We find out that there are some challenges, like the one related to how to treat some catechists when they are in retirement. There is no program for that, but these findings will help the commission to look at some measures to take to ensure that there is a program to follow up catechists who are retired. We have found out that those who are not who have no contract sometimes don't have even health insurance schemes or this retirement saving like Caisse Sociale. But with this information, people are reflecting on how to look at how to look at all these challenges and see how to rectify them.
Okay. So though we are not here to talk about the research findings, but all we can say is that there is a promising future for the catechists in Rwanda. So for those who want to join, this is the right time to join. Thank you. The show is My Home Show, and now we are talking about how the pilgrimage is important to catechists. Recently, you made a trip to Uganda. So, how was the journey?
Thank you for the question, and I'm glad I was among the people who took their time and take a journey to Namugongo in Uganda. Most of Catholic Church Christians knows Namugongo well because this is a place where people who were not rebels, who were rebels for the kings in Uganda, Kabaka of Uganda, were taken to be killed. So when Christianity took place, Christian or white fathers get in Uganda, some pages of the king joined the Catholic Church. And this was not really something that pleased him. He decided to kill them. So we went there to see the whole journey these people passed during that time. So we lived here on 17th and we came back on 20th. The first place we visited is Munyonyo, which was one of the paris of Kabaka of Uganda. It's where the first the second martyr of Uganda were killed, called Dionys Sebugwabo. And then after leaving the place, we get to the cathedral, which is in a place, it's in the same place called Munyonyo, but on the other side, where the patron of catechists were killed. The church is built on the way in the place where his house were at that time. So when you get there, there are people who explain you what happened for these people, and most of the time the testimonies can affirm or reaffirm your belief in our Christian faith. And most of the time this can also reaffirm your determination even you can even be you can even be martyr of what you have seen. You can be a martyr of the truth, for example. If you are a Christian, people are expected to see truth, to get truth from you. You can be someone who testify for what you believe in, but also good actions Christians have made. And also those young people, some were killed because they have given up some practices which were not good for a Christian at that time. So when you get all these testimonies by people who are there to tell us about the life of Uganda's martyrs, sometimes refresh you in what you do and in your Christian way of doing.
So the pilgrimage helps the catechists to reflect on their mission, on their way of doing the job they are expected to do. So did you, let's say, throughout the journey, the pilgrimage, did you take time to reflect on your commitment or renew your commitment as catechists?
Yeah. For me, this journey was really something that even I most of the time I go back to reflect on what happened here in Rwanda and see. First of all, this journey happened as someone who is interested in knowing the story of our Christianity. This pilgrimage helped me a lot. First of all, I go back and see the catechists that accompanied white fathers here. Most of them were Ugandans from Namugongo, and maybe recently you have seen a documentary that which talk about Matthias Mulumba, who was a father of Sabakati, who was a first catechist here in Rwanda. This was a story told by a daughter of Sabakati. So with this in mind, and seeing those first catechists here in Rwanda, this zeal that they had at that time, where they remember what happened to their fathers and brothers in Uganda, sometimes help us to think about the Christian faith, because there is something which is something different, which is strange for people who doesn't know what Christianity is. Seeing people going to church, preaching, helping others without any, this day everything is money. Seeing people doing things with zeal without money, sometimes people don't know what motivates that. Such kind of pilgrimage really is a kind of flash that really enkindle in us this zeal. So what I have seen in Namugongo helped me to really going back to what I do and see, and help me to look at how to reaffirm, but also to. In Kinyarwanda we talk about something kunagura. Kunagura is it's a kind of repairing or renewing. So sometimes this kind of pilgrimage help us to think, to rethink, to think and rethink about our faith and see how we can really toughen it and going on and be firm in what we believe in.
Yes.
And
So
for me, this was for me, but the testimonies by others, because there were people from different dioceses, all 9 dioceses have catechists, some who are all the others in middle ages, others who are young people. Young people were eager to go on and go in the steps of their elders, and the one in the middle was a time to really appreciate what they have seen and reinforce what they do, and the one who are old were happy that what they have spent time doing is not nothing.
Thank you. So the total number of the number we have seen the catechists who visited Uganda, Namugonga and Munyonyo. So the number we saw, that was the total number of catechists, or that was the number of representatives?
Those were representative because we have more than 5,000 catechists, professional catechists in Rwanda. Those people have seen in the documentary were representative of others. Each diocese have to provide about 10 catechists, 8-10 catechists, and they were accompanied by their priests and people in charge of catechists at the diocese level. And we were happy to be with Anton Cardinal Kambanda for the whole time we spent there, and this was really something that for me it amazed me, and looking at his schedule and finding time to spend with us, dedicating that time for this pilgrimage, showed me that really our clergy leaders, church leaders here, are really giving value to the catechists, and this really encourages them to see that they are supported.
So now my last question is about how like you said, those we saw in Uganda were the representatives of other thousands catechists in Rwanda. So how those who were represented are going to benefit from what you earn by doing this pilgrimage?
First of all, there was a recommendation, because after the pilgrimage, we sat together and reflect on what can be the way forward. First of all, we are going to put together what we have collected there and share it with others. We have taken some photos, videos, but also we have listened to testimonies from people who given us that. And
so these are testimonies of catechists, or these are testimonies of people you found there?
On the life of martyrs. And we have opted, first of all, to each diocese will look at how to put together catechists who were there and reflect on it after coming up to the diocese. They have to sit and have a dialogue and share what they have brought from there. And some of them will go and share their experience with their fellow in the parish. So this is the way it was recommended. And I have seen some messages. The people are eager to share what they have received from the pilgrimage in Namgongo.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. With this, we come to the end of our show, but before I hand over the mic, I would like to remind you that as he said, through his personal experience and what he learned from this pilgrimage, the Ugandan shrines they visited, is that through pilgrimage, a catechist's faith, dedication, zeal is strengthened. So imagine if the hundreds who visited Ugandan shrines, these shrines, their faith and commitments are strengthened. Rwanda would be a paradise. This is my wish. So I thank you so much, Emmanuel Habumuremyi. I hope next time if I invite you again, we'll be happy to see you again.
Thank you, and I will do with pleasure.
Thank you very much. I also thank you for taking time to watch my home show, and I also thank PACIS, who is on behind the camera to make sure that the sound and image are perfect. So stay blessed. See you next time.
As things progress, man needs to change in the right direction, spreading the love of Christ, sharing a message of peace in all nations.
PACIS TV, your life renewed in Jesus Christ.
Urukundo nirwogere ijisho y'ababiri urukundo nirwogere umuhungu aragenda urukundo nirwogere
urukundo rwo muri iki gihe ubu ngubu rwabaye business
nge sindi amafaranga
urukundo rutizera ntago